Hello everybody, and welcome to the We're Still Standing episode 34 of the Crochet Cakes podcast.
Today is?
I don't know what day it is. What is today? Today is Sunday, the 29th of October.
Sunday the 29th.
And it's been about almost 40 days since we last had a video up. Maybe longer. We recorded it, but it's been a long time.
It might be a little more time before this one actually goes up, but we decided to
just get back into the swing of things,
right.
And just, you know, for those of you who are still worried, I know I've managed to contact a lot of people, and I actually managed to get some access to Instagram to just, you know, put your fears to rest. We're still here, and we're slowly but surely moving on. I think we woke up in 1950, but, you know, slowly but surely it's now progressing to the 1960s, and at some point it'll get back to 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, we might be in the 70s right now, where people don't wash their hair a lot and people don't take a lot of baths and put flowers on themselves to smell pretty.
I think that's the 60s.
But yeah, no communication, so we don't know when this podcast will go up, but whenever it's recorded, and you'll be able to see it at some point.
Yep. And so, since I guess this podcast is kind of our Halloween podcast, even if it's not going up, we're sorry we couldn't dress up for this year. I don't think any of you are more disappointed than we are. We are very bummed out that we couldn't dress up. We had such amazing costumes planned, but maybe next year we'll do a split screen and we'll use this year's costumes. But before we start, just thought I would share with you the recipe for this episode. Even though I didn't actually remember to record it, it's, I think Mom can attest to how good it came out, because she's eaten more than me.
I haven't I? Well, let's show it.
Well, that's kind of a weird looking one. I already bit into it and it's gonna fall off the plate.
No, it's kind of sticky.
And the only suggestion I would say is that you start out with the 4 cups of flour, like she says, but I think I ended up adding about 5 cups of flour total when I was kneading it. I just kneaded it to the point where it wasn't completely sticking to my fingers and it looked like sticky dough or something.
And the recipe had frosting and this one doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't make the frosting because I thought they were quite good on their own, but maybe the frosting would be a good idea if you just wanted to say.
Maybe.
So, what shall we start with?
What are we wearing?
Because we are both wearing finished objects, and objects that you had never seen before.
Well, we actually did get to put them on the into a couple of the cows.
Oh yeah, we did.
I didn't upload mine to internet. Did you? To Instagram?
Mm-mm.
But we did get them into a couple of cows. So maybe those of you that are very vicious with your cow watching and all that, and keeping up with the threads, may have seen them. But the one that I'm wearing is, and as if the editing can get done, Clarissa will include a nicer picture so that I don't have to stand in front of the camera like I usually do. But I do want you to take a look at it. This is the a good vintage cardigan that came out in, what was that? Simply Crochet. But I, for some reason, and known to all of you that my memory is not very good, cannot remember the edition. It's 52. I know it's number 52, but I don't remember when that came out. It was they did it. It was a vintage pattern that was retouched, right? I don't really know what the differences were. I know that the original one was a total blue color because they reprinted it. They reprinted a picture of it in a later volume of the magazine. But I had purchased 3, and I probably didn't do it for this purpose, but I had purchased 3 hanks of my first yarn from Nora George, and I thought I had brought the band with me somewhere, but I obviously put it down, didn't know. She called it pumpkin. It was her pumpkin colorway, but as I crocheted it up, it kind of looked to me like candy corn. And maybe that's why it didn't... maybe that's why I didn't actually like it, the finished object, as much as I thought I would, because I hate candy corn. Out of all the things that can come up on Halloween, I hate candy corn. So, but the design is superb. I mean,
maybe we could call it a pumpkin bun, because this has a can of pumpkin, and you can see the kind of like
this
orangey.
just looks like candy corn. You can't get away from it. This is. Do you remember that it's Blueface?
It's BFL and
BFL and nylon. I think it's probably 75, 75-25, and a bit itchy. More than I had expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be that itchy, but the design is fabulous. If you get a chance, and I mean, I just couldn't deal with all the color changes, but if you get a chance, I mean, I used a 3mm hook. It recommends a 3 for the ribbing and a 3.5 for the body. But we got into this debate about, some people had said that it was too big, and we were fearsome that it was going to be too big. And ultimately, I decided to do the whole thing with the 3mm. But I stuck to their stitch counts and the lengths of each piece. And I think I didn't have to do anything to it, no alterations. The only thing I did do was I made shorter sleeves, because, I'm in Puerto Rico, and even though right now, one of the effects of the aftermath of Maria was the heat. It's gotten so hot because we have no trees and no wind is blowing. This has been crazy. It's been a real crazy after this hurricane.
It feels like the day after tomorrow, kind of. Except that we didn't get snow. We have
a hotter version. We got the inferno.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I shortened the sleeves. I might have had enough to make the longer sleeves. Don't know. I don't really think so. This is what I had left over. So
from 3 skeins, right?
From 3. So I think I weighed it, and it was about 200. There's about 30 grams left here, so it's about 280, 275, something like that.
But you did do extended double crochets.
Oh, well, yes, that was one different. I used a 3mm, and my clusters, instead of being just double crocheted granny stitches, for some reason, I don't know, I guess I had been doing socks during the previous days, and I was using extended single crochet, and so I just decided to do this one with an extended double crochet. I thought that would make it taller, and that since the hook was so small, it would grow faster, because one of the things about making a garment, especially if you use single crochet or small stitches, is that it takes so long to grow. And so, but it really didn't make it.
Did you show off your buttons?
Make it. If you can see the buttons, I tried to get a little close up there. Is it focused? I have no glasses on, so I can't see. Can I get closer?
Yeah, there.
I had these little owl buttons, and decided they would go well with the whole Halloween. Even though I won't be able to wear this on Halloween, because there's no way. The heat that's here, that I've got this on today because it's a rainy day, and it feels cool still.
As in, it's not 90 degrees.
Right. So this was my finished good old vintage cardigan. If you have looked around the internet, for example, many people have made it, and in using all the different colors, so they're very courageous. I wasn't about to do sewing all those ends.
I started mine 4 times, but each time it's too big, so I have to rip it back.
Right, it was another one of those patterns that we were hoping to have each one a version of our...
It just didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. I don't know. I didn't have any problems with the size. This one actually fits her too. So, and I stuck to the 175 stitches to begin with.
I really wanted to use a Crafternoon Treats yarn, and even though I was measuring to make sure, like, my first 2 rows were... What did I need? 30 inches? I was making sure that my first 2 rows were 30 inches, but when I got to the clusters, It became like 35, and I guess I could keep on making it. It's just then I would probably not button it up because it would be way too big if I button it up. But if I leave it loose and just put decorative buttons, it might work. But I don't know. I'm a bit upset with it, so it's in the naughty corner right now. And I was only using 2 colors, but that wasn't going to be enough. And I didn't. You should have to ask Mom. I printed out a piece of the pattern, and it's got a whole section of mathematical calculations trying to figure out what stitch count, how my yardage was going to be used up, how much yardage I was using. In 3 granny clusters I was using 21 yards. Like, I just calculated everything, but it's in the naughty corner, like I said. But something that I'm very, very happy to have finished is the top that I am wearing. And just standing up, this top, I believe you've seen it before. Emma from the Potter and Bloom podcast, she made it in a mustard yellow. Faye made it in 2 tones. She did the center was brown, and then the main body was like a teal color. And I made it in a glaringly lovely orange color, and I have called this my pumpkin pasties top.
This is cotton acrylic, right?
This is a 50-50 Egyptian cotton acrylic 50-50 cotton polyester blend. I forgot the ball band, but I think the brand is Tencel, if I'm not mistaken. And the pattern is the Riverit top, which can be found in Pom Pom Quarterly.
So it's not free.
Of 2016. No, it's not 3. If you search for the Pom Pom Quarterly issue on Ravelry, it's the one that it's all beige. That every pattern in the issue is made with like a cream color. It'll say $8.99, but that is for the whole ebook. Like, I purchased it and it has all the patterns. Most of them are knitting, but there are 2 crochet patterns in there, and this is one of them, which is Riverit. Now, many people mentioned they had issues with the sizing and with putting it together, this kind of raglan motif that it's got going on. I had absolutely no issues. I made size 1, which is the smallest size. I used the hook that was recommended, which was a 4mm hook. And I basically started it during Maria and finished it during Maria.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
It was super fast. Like, for the actual hurricane bit thing, because there were 30 hours, 27 to 30 hours of hurricane winds. Always fun and cozy. So I did the whole back piece that day, and then I kind of went slower because I was enjoying the process so much that I went a lot slower, but it fits. It is a bit more cropped than I had anticipated, but since I like wearing a lot of high waist,
it goes bottom up?
No, it actually goes side. So you start, the way the pattern is written, you start this on this side and you kind of work your way into, so
middle.
You essentially do 4 pieces. So you start on your side. The first thing you make are your sleeves.
Okay, you start on the side including sleeves.
You
start on the side including sleeves.
It includes the sleeves.
So it's worked in woman thing.
So it works in 4 pieces. And it was just beautiful. I liked it. I'm very happy with it. The only thing I'm not too happy, and I keep fiddling with it, is like this part here, because they weren't a perfect match. But I don't know if that's me or that's the pattern. But if you... Oh, and I used a bit like less than 400 grams because I had 5 100-gram balls. I had one that was completely left alone. I didn't use it, and I had about, I would say, 10 to 15 grams left from each ball. So you actually don't need that much. It's DK weight yarn, and yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. It's going to be part of...
We had our
pumpkin
set.
Along.
Our Halloween along. And we've been able to put it into different cows little by little. The pumpkin cow from Joanne of Stitching the High Nose,
the back to school sweater cow,
and
I put it in the Harry Potter
also. So yeah, we Work well done.
One day that we managed to get signal.
For a couple of hours.
Yeah. We just
And it wasn't even here, it was down the road.
Yeah. I think what we mostly have to show you is finished objects now, because we have a lot of those. Mum has more crochet finished objects. I have more sewing finished objects.
But we worked on these days that we weren't able to do anything else or communicate with anybody. So let's start. Oh, we must start with the spotting clouds. Let's end that cow.
Right.
Officially end that cow.
Right.
You start because mine isn't here.
You didn't
I've
bring
got to
it.
step out for a minute and get mine.
Right. Well, this is the Spotting Clouds top, which was a cowl that I was attempting to run, but Maria completely knocked it off the park. So I think what I'm going to do is just have it be very informal. I think if I get a chance to get on Ravelry, I'm going to take off the end date, because just if you finish it, great, put it into the finished objects thread and just let everybody see what you crocheted up. So the Spotting Clouds top is a free pattern found on Christina Hattering's blog, and she is a spoonful of yarn. That's the name of her blog, and it's a very well written, detailed pattern, and this was the end result for me. So can you see? Are you guys seeing? I'm not even sure. Okay. And I decided to go for tunic length, and I didn't weave in this end. This is the only end I didn't weave in, because this is exactly what I had left of the yarn. That is it, guys. That is all I had left. And it actually wasn't even enough to finish a whole round. What I did was that I did half double crochets until I started running out of yarn, and then I went down to a single crochet and then a slip stitch, and that was it. I ran out of yarn. But I'm still very happy that I used every single bit.
It is a tunic length.
It is tunic length. I'm gonna put a little video when I edit of how it looks on me.
Or on me.
Because this is going to be a gift. I did not like how it looked on me at all.
Well, it turned out pretty big.
It turned out really big. And wide. And I followed the pattern exactly. I followed the pattern exactly
But
for
I
the
think
small.
it is wide. I always thought
Yeah,
it was
it
wide.
is wide, but in my mind it wasn't that wide. It was a wide I could handle, and I'm not good. No. But brilliant, because it's going to be a Christmas gift. Duh. It's going to be a Christmas gift.
I like it a lot. I've tried it on, and I would ignore how big it looks, and I would wear it. But yes, it'll make a great Christmas gift. It's could be used in more than one season. Long sleeve T-shirt underneath,
some
and
leggings
for
leg warmers.
Right, it could be for autumn or for winter,
And I
then
do
in the
love
summer without anything.
I do love the pattern.
Changing color.
I do love the pattern. It got a bit tedious after a while, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you
but
had to have mommy there nagging to get it
I
done.
wish I didn't, because the woman can nag like nobody's business.
But how long would it have taken you if I hadn't nagged? I mean, I don't think she would have finished it. She was really upset because it was getting really big, and so she was upset because it was getting tedious, and she had other things that she wanted to start.
I was upset because Mom was nagging.
She was upset because I was nagging, but I thought it turned out
seriously,
really
if you ever need to finish a project, I'll just record, Mom, and I'll send you the recording, and you can play it 24 hours a day, because that's what it feels like.
Especially in a forced vacation where you have somebody around you 24 hours a day.
And you can't go outside of the house because the roads
talk
are
to
blocked
anybody
off.
else.
and you can't go in your car because
you can't put on the radio like she used to do with your music, so she didn't have to hear me. But but you will see as the episode goes on that it had its effects, and the effects were good. Okay, so my did we get to put this one up? I don't know if we got to put this one up on the Instagram.
I think you put it up. I didn't put mine up.
I put pieces of it up.
I wanted to put a picture of myself wearing it, and I didn't like myself wearing it, so I'm waiting until the person who receives the gift wears it so they can send me a picture.
Right. And so, but
I wore this one.
This one we have a little video because Clarissa wore it to work, and so we took a video before she went to work, and it looked very nice on her.
I like it.
Because if you'll remember, mine was a little different than the original. As always, we don't do FOs, we do MOs, right? our modified objects here, where we always think we can do a better job. But the thing was that I was sure it was going to be too big, and so I started reducing along this side here, where every time I got to a cluster of double crochets, I reduced, and I reduced a lot. Remember I said I reduced 1 stitch for every 5 at the beginning, and then down here I opened up again, I increased some stitches, 1 every 10, so that I wouldn't have problems around the hip area, and it looked very well. It looked very well on Clarissa, and so
I'm looking at myself wearing it.
We are very happy with this one. We know it'll get some use. We know, even though, let me say, I still feel this is a lot of yarn. It's, 1,000 yards of yarn, and it weighs, it's heavy. So
well, actually, I didn't. I found it to be very comfortable wearing it. I loved the feel. It's very soft and very airy. So
yeah, but she works in air conditioning right
freezing.
Now. At the university where I am, we have no air conditioning.
There is no light
in the classrooms, in the offices, or anything. I don't really think we were even we were even set up enough. We were even mended enough to go to start classes back. It's really crazy. We're teaching on Saturdays, teaching on Sundays, and doing everything we can to get the amount of required hours of meeting. So,
but top fits great.
But maybe for Christmas when it gets cooler, maybe I can do it.
I loved wearing it. I have to be honest. I would probably, if it didn't take me so long, probably make another one.
So congratulations if you finished yours. Special thanks to Faye for trying to keep up.
Thank you so much to Faye for keeping that thread alive and for letting people know that I've been okay. It really,
so many people participated in the thread. They were,
and thank you to
people that were there. They were talking back and forth, and
thank you to just everybody who tried to keep in touch, even though we weren't getting back to you guys and leaving all those wonderful messages, because they were very much appreciated and they were very necessary.
Right, even now that every once in a while we get reception, we just can't answer all of them because we don't get reception long enough, but we're there. We're reading them and we're smiling, and sometimes even tears are coming to our eyes. We're so touched by the amount of people that have got back to us. I mean, like Allison from KCACY podcast wrote us and said that she didn't have the heart to see our last podcast because she kept thinking about us, didn't know if we were well. So when she finally found out we were okay, she decided to watch it, and that was very touching. It's been great having. I mean, I put up my socks little picture up in Instagram this week, and like 80 people answered a comment. I'm glad you're back. We missed you, and it's really touching to know that you've got friends all around the world, and that if you do actually disappear, somebody will miss you. So that part has been great, and little by little, we're mending, and we're going to be getting back into the tone of things, and hopefully it won't be that far away.
Right. So
moving on. So what have you sewn? No. What do you call it?
I just don't really call it anything. I just usually show it. I think I'm going to start with what I actually managed to show in the last episode, which was this skirt, this version of this, the length of version of this skirt, because it's all one piece of fabric. And also the top part, this was a skirt that I made for Clarissa at a different point. Really didn't fit her that well. Came out too small, but it's like a circular skirt. I literally squeeze into it
because she likes the fabric so much. And the other version, this version over here, this version has
2 pieces of fabric, but it's gathered.
Gathered. Thank you.
It's gathered.
I haven't talked to people for so long. No. Just kidding.
But I finished it, guys. This was my Halloween skirt, and I am very, very happy with how it turned out. The fit is great because I found out
she was missing the waistband and the hem.
Yep.
And so that's all set. And this is going to be.
I'm a size 10 in this pattern. It's pattern 6313. I'm a size 10. Which means I have a waist of 25 inches and a bust of 32.5.
Which doesn't come into account because
the bust doesn't really come into account, but yeah, I'm a size 10 in this pattern.
So what's this going to be? Monday or Tuesday?
That's going to be Tuesday. I'm going to be very vampirish, and I'm going to wear this with a black skirt and the lipstick called Vampira, and I'm going to attempt to make a really awesome badass eye makeup, which will probably fail. But you know, I'll try and put a picture up of how I use it so you guys can see. I'm very happy. It's such a fun skirt, you know. And I did the zipper the way Mom said to do it, which is just to sew the whole seam and then place your zipper, sew it, and rip it. Actually came out quite well. I'm a bit upset that this side I kind of opened up there, but you know, live and learn. I'm very happy. The fit is fantastic, and yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this skirt, do I?
No.
That's it. How rude.
Let's move on.
Right. What are you moving on to then?
I thought we'd do all the sewing section.
Oh, you want me to do all the sewing? Okay.
Well, if you want, I can do one. What can I do? Well, I can't do because you have it over there.
Oh yeah.
We both made bags for this Halloween.
Mom sewed this bag for me.
So I made her.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep still.
What's it called?
This is a ghastly.
The ghastly Halloween fabric. It actually is not the pattern from this year. This was the pattern from 2 years ago. They still charge me expensive though.
Yeah, but it's amazing. And she made a pocket.
This was just what was on the selvage.
Yeah.
I cut off the message and decided to add.
And look at this pocket with the gorgeous cat and pumpkins. I love pumpkins.
Put a pocket on the inside from the same. It was hard to cut up. It was hard to cut up.
It was gorgeous.
Because it's got, I don't know if you've seen Ghastly, but Ghastly is sort of like in images. No, it's like in images that are pieces and they're all put together. And so you want to cut one out without ruining the other, but yeah, not possible.
Oh, I love this bag. I'm serious, guys.
You remember the bag that Clarissa made for me?
I didn't show that before.
Oh. Well, I've been using it for so long. I thought we had shared it. This was the Halloween bag that Clarissa made for me. I thought I had.
I don't think that was done for the last podcast, Mom. It wasn't done for the last podcast.
What project did it have in it the last time?
You were making that one.
Okay, so then it wasn't shown because I hadn't started this cardigan.
So this is an Ophelia fabric from Cotton and Steel. It's from Halloween 2016.
It's got my favorite shiny fabric on the inside.
It was the last bit of it.
I love it.
So I'm glad I managed to make a bag out of it. It's kind of a bronzy
also
color.
Got an inside pocket.
It's got a pocket. And silly me, I forgot to sew this, so it's got like 2 pockets.
Got 2 pockets instead of 1.
But yes, I wanted to make it.
And she did remember to put the crochet cakes label on it. That
I did. Mom nags.
She usually forgets.
Mom nags when I don't put it on. And I'm very, very happy that
the vintage lace. Was this from your grandmother?
Yeah, my grandmother gave me all this lace. This is from like the 80s, maybe, or the 90s. Probably the 90s because she always put lace on the clothes she used to sew for me. So I'm very happy that I managed to put lace on it, and I'm really happy with
how it came out. And you see how it's got my 3 children there? They're all dressed as girls. Is it diagonally?
Yeah, it's easier to see on this side because here you've got the one with the black hair. See these 3.
So yeah, we did get to make Halloween bags for each other.
Which was, I still have, I think, more fabric that I was going to make myself a Halloween bag, but Mom was cheeky. She had bought this for herself, I thought, but she gave it to me, and
because I had the ghastly bag.
That's my favorite.
That she had made me last year, and so I wanted her to have a ghastly bag.
I just love the ghastlies. Like seriously, I think that we always have little pieces left over, so I told Mom that if we continue in this pattern of buying ghastly fabrics for every Halloween, we could probably make something with putting all the pieces together of the leftover fabric. But something else that I was, mostly Mom was sewing because I was very, very intimidated by it, is this pattern by Simplicity. It's a size pattern 73-74.
It was when Simplicity made patterns of one size only.
Yeah, this is size 8.
So with size 8. We weren't sure if it was going to fit for a while.
No, I added.
We actually cut it out a little bit bigger, and then realized that
it was huge.
The original, the normal size
the size 8 would have
fit
been
well.
fine. But this is vintage pattern, guys. This is when Mom was 20 years old.
No, it's not that long. This was, notice that here it has this stamp that says this cartado. That means that it wasn't coming out anymore. It was they weren't going to make this pattern anymore. And so I bought it probably for about $1. And if you buy patterns nowadays, you know how expensive patterns are. And so this is when patterns were still $1. And I never made it. I have a whole collection of things that I bought and I never made.
So that's, oh wait,
And
no,
so,
this says the year.
Oh, it
here.
says the year. This was the
1986.
There you go,
This
1986.
is from 1986. And,
What's that? How many years is that? Let's see what you math.
well, that would be
4 is for
2 years older than
90,
Sally, so that would be 34.
14 is
34 years ago, more or less.
No, a little less. 31, I think.
Okay. Well,
But that makes it vintage. Usually they do vintage anything more than 25 years old.
I made it a bit
So
less.
I'm vintage too. Are you vintage, Gladys?
Unfortunately, yes, I fall under that category. Thank you.
Oh my God, already. Jeez.
Anyway, I made it a bit less vintage by making it shorter because I had bought this
Well, yeah,
Halloween
she
fabric that you guys remember because I showed it in the last podcast. I am so in love with this fabric. I can't even explain it. I'm
I'm even
saving
more in love with it now that the dress is made.
I'm
because I think
saving
it looks gorgeous on her.
every bit of scrap to try and make a project bag because this is so amazing. Like,
We haven't finished it because we don't have the buttons. It
And we
needs
had-
9 buttons, and
we
one of
had
the problems is
issues
that
with
some
the
of the
sewing
stores
machines.
haven't. Well, yeah, my sewing machine broke down and it's not making buttonholes. But also I'm not sure if some of the stores are even open yet.
yeah, I don't
The
think
ones
they
that
are.
we purchased from the local stores, some of them aren't open yet.
Because
So
all that's missing is
we might have to put some
I'm gonna have to sew by hand.
3 of one buttons and 2 of another. We could go to your grandmother's house, I think.
No, well, yeah, that's true.
But
I'm just missing the hem.
if not, what I thought was we would just put a snap
yeah,
and put the button on the outside as decorative.
I think that could work. I think
But
that
we need the
could work.
buttons, and we don't have a place open right now to give us. The
Mom
buttons.
has mostly sewn this dress. I just did the cutting and the initial sewing, but the pleats scared me. I didn't understand them. I kept trying to fold them, and
No, but did you work on the top part?
yeah, I
The
did the
part,
top.
the only top part that gave her problems was this front panels.
This, yeah, because you really had to
Because-
stretch the fabric.
It was
in
a
order.
curve,
Mm-hmm.
something straight turning into a curve. You were attaching a curve to something straight, and so we found out that the problem was that we weren't stretching it enough to fit, and we thought the pieces weren't fitting together. But they came out really nice, and the fit on her is really nice.
And we ended
Yes.
up making it the size 8.
It's going to look nice. It's going to look really nice.
I just love it.
And if we don't get for Halloween, because since she's got several outfits that she could wear during those days, we'll always get Dia de los Muertos or something like that. What was that day when your friend in the States did a party and all that? Was it for the...
El 1 de noviembre.
Okay. Well, good.
Wait,
And she's got...
¿Tú estás hablando del bachelorette que le tiramos a Cheyenne?
No, I'm talking about the way you paint the face white and
Yeah,
then you
it's
put
el
all kinds of
el
decorations
1 de
on it.
noviembre. The Day of the Dead. In which you honor your dead. Because if you don't, they go into the land of the forgotten. And that's when they're truly dead.
This is a Mexican tradition?
Yep, Mexican tradition. It's actually the precursor of All Hallows Eve. So, there you go. A little tiny bit of history right there. So,
Is
finished.
that it for you, Sally?
Yeah, that is all my sewing. I think it's time to move on to crochet finished objects.
Crochet finished objects.
Which
Well,
I have none.
You have none.
No.
And which I have a parade of socks to share with you. If you watched my Instagram, I put up a picture of all the socks together, but I want to give you a close-up here and remind you of what patterns I was working on in case you want to repeat them. This one was with the first colorway that I purchased from Kay Jones, and it was called
Toil and Trouble.
Toil and Trouble. And but the sock wasn't troublesome at all. I do believe that this was a sock that one of these socks. These socks are all from Ron Strong's book,
Stepping into Crochet.
Stepping into Crochet Socks. And one of them I found that I had to actually look at the chart in order to be able to finish to follow the lace pattern. This one is the Meredith sock, and it's a. I took off my glasses because there was too much glare, and so I have problems reading here. And she can't read my handwriting, so that didn't make it any better.
Nope.
It is the Meredith sock, and it's got a combination of cable, short cables, and joins. And the back is, I believe, because the feel of it, because I can't really see it right now.
I think it's
linked half double crochets. And the cuff is I knitted. I didn't. If you look at the pattern, it's got a very long flap back here, very long flap back at the back, and so the leg actually would start here. I didn't want it because I used my socks for exercise, and so I keep them short as much as possible, and so I just kept added the knitted cuff, and these are my socks, my toil and trouble socks.
And the base is a 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon high twist.
I believe they were done in 3.25, which is the size that I'm finding I most like for making my crochet socks. 3.25. Some of them, especially if it has this type of heel flap, and this doesn't really have a gusset.
No.
And so they can even go up to 3.5 because it helps for when you're trying to get it around your foot. But maybe we'll in the future have some fashion videos of us walking in our socks. But
we need to get those shoes that
the clogs
that Emma Potter wears. We need those. They look really nice with socks.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't buy anything now.
The second pair of socks that I made were solicited by Clarissa. She wanted to have a pair of Halloween socks.
Which I haven't been able to wear because since we haven't done a podcast, she hasn't allowed me to wear them. Thank you.
So they're sitting in another one of my favorite Halloween bags, although I received it for Christmas. It's got a Halloween theme, which is Maleficent. And this is the sock that I actually didn't follow an exact pattern, because I've done so many crochet socks and they basically have a lot in common. So I probably borrowed this from something that somebody did. I thought I had borrowed it maybe from the Beltline
toe-up socks.
Does that say Clarissa there?
Yeah.
Okay. The Beltline
toe-up
socks from Ron Strong's book.
I remember that you did a linked half double crochet for
this
the
one has.
leg.
He uses a linked half double crochet. I did a linked double crochet. A linked double crochet because I wanted the socks to grow quickly. I wanted to make them fast, and so I didn't. They didn't.
And boy,
they took.
She made them in a week.
Well, I took a couple of 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Because I took a break in between.
It takes me months to make a knitted sock.
But if you do them, for example, single crochet, they take forever, and so I really dislike doing them in single crochet.
And these have got a crochet
but
cuff.
These
are 100% crochet
Right.
socks.
These have the crochet cuff. The short leg is still not as long as the leg that he uses in his books, but I made them to Clarissa's liking. She said she liked them that. And I think it was the first time that I was doing, not the first time, probably the second time that I was doing different colors.
Oh, contrasting
toes, heels, and this time I even had enough for the cuff. I was using.
This is Lion Brand. Over here, Mom.
Oh, I also got to make myself a little notions bag out of the same fabric that was on the inside of this bag that Clarissa made me. This is also Gasling, right?
Yeah, let's Gasling.
And so I was able to sew up with the leftover. I was able to sew up a little notions pouch here, and I'm thinking about making one for each of the bags so I don't lose my stuff.
The yarn,
I don't know why I'm even looking at this bag.
The yarn for this sock is Lion Brand Sock Ease yarn. It says super fine, 75% wool, 25% nylon, and the colorway of the main sock is called Sour Ball. And
like those candies, right?
Yeah, I think they are candies. Yeah. And then the contrasting one is just like carrot or pumpkin.
So you know the patterning, whatever it is,
peanut.
comes with the yarn. I didn't change yarns or anything like that. That was just the way it comes up. And so they're very thick.
I like them. They're so squishy.
So they'll probably be very warm if you want to wear them when in a cold climate. They would be very warm. She wanted her first pair of crochet socks to be done by me, and so there you are. Finally, they're yours.
Yes, mine, all mine.
The third sock that I worked on was another Ron Strong pattern, because those were the books that I have on my Kindle, and so I didn't have to go to the internet because I could read them off my Kindle during the all of this hurricane aftermath, and so it was the easiest thing to do. And these are the
Gorman Street
toe-up socks by Ron Strong, and the yarn you might recognize it as from Kayleen of Little Bean. What's this? Little Bean what?
Just thought I'd share you. Little Bean Loves.
Little Bean Loves.
She's Little Bean Crochet on Etsy.
Yeah, because she's got a different name, like for Instagram, is it? On Etsy, listen, and so I get confused. But the company is called Little Bean Loves, and this was Narcissa.
Nice.
It was one of her first self-striping, well, 2 color self-striping. Well, she says 2 colors, but it actually got a little bit of gray that stripes into there too.
But that might be, we have yet to figure this out because we both bought the colorway, because I was meant to knit the socks and Mom was meant to crochet the sock, but she can crochet. To see,
we'll do it at some future. She'll knit it up, and then I could show you the difference between making the way, because yarns don't look the same when they're self-striping, or self-patterning, they won't look the same if you knit them or if you crochet them, and they're usually made for knitting. Mm-hmm. Most pattern designers design it for knitting. So
I still think they came out wonderful.
The contrasting is
Goosey
the
Fibers.
first yarn that I bought from Goosey Fibers, and it's her Grimald's Place. If you remember anything about Harry Potter, Grimald's Place was the home of Sirius Black and the Black family. And since Narcissa was a cousin of the Blacks, well, I thought it was very appropriate. It appears to be black, but it's really like a very dark blue.
It's a really dark navy blue, yeah.
Really dark navy blue. So
I like it. It looks like the night sky.
The socks are the most comfortable. He uses in the legs and the foot extended single crochet. An extended single crochet with a 3.25 millimeter hook is what I used. And yes, I even crocheted. I finally followed.
Faye's suggestion.
No, it's Crack the Escapism.
Oh yeah, she just does Tamara.
Tamara from Crack the Escapism. She told me that what she did was when she crocheted
the cuff.
This is crocheted like this vertically.
Yeah.
Into the back loop
it's
only.
It's not crocheted in the round.
Right, it's into the back loop only, and then at every point you connect back to your leg. And she told me that what she did was she was skipping one. She wasn't connecting it to every stitch on the leg. She was connecting it to every other stitch on the leg. And so that worked better for me. It made a cuff that wasn't bulky, that wasn't baggy. And these socks are the socks that I really do love the most out of all the ones that I have crocheted. And so that's my sock adventure during this last month. My sockathon.
Right. So I think that just brings us up to works in progress. And I have only one Halloween themed work in progress.
We have lots of it left.
And my Halloween work in progress is in this yarn, which is the Polyjuice Potion colorway by Lolo Did It, and I am making a garment. I don't know if you can tell, but could you hold that up? I am making. If you are a long-term viewer, you will remember the conundrum I had with making
promise.
This garment. Mom wanted me to make it for her, and I was having serious issues making it because I was following the pattern exactly. The pattern tells you to crochet 91 stitches, and
is it bottom up or top down?
It's bottom up, and then you add the peplum, and then you do your sleeves. So that's the general construction.
So the thing is that with bottom up, that once it's done, if you have to make adjustments to the length,
you kind of screw
it. You gotta rip it all up, right?
But it wasn't the length, it was the width. It was like twice her size.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did for this one was that I measured...
This one is not for me though.
No, that one's for me. I want to try it.
Those colors.
I wanted to try it out for me first, and I wanted to pair this to colors, which is Polyjuice Potion, which greatly reminds me of Halloween. And don't call me Nymphadora, because I found they have similar colors. Mm-hmm. It's just the tones are different. So I wanted to see if I could make a garment with it. And what I did for this is that I'm using a 3mm for the 2 starting rows, so you can kind of tuck in before you start your peplum. And I'm using a 3.25mm for the general body of the shirt, blouse. And I'm only using 79 stitches, because 79 stitches on a 3mm hook gave me 14 inches, which would give me 28 inches all around, which is about 1.5 inches more than my actual waist. So I thought it'd be fine, because considering that when you join, you actually remove some width, so I thought it was gonna work out. And so far, I've only trying to use these 2 colorways, and the pattern calls for 300 grams, but I'm only 1.5 rows away from completing the back part. So I think I can pull off at least have the whole shirt in the Polyjuice Potion colorway, which I like more than the Nymphadora Tonks colorway, because it has a lot more of those specks of green, and the pink is not so Pepto-Bismol bubblegum in your face pink. Mm-hmm. So I managed to do all that yesterday, watching 3 episodes of Downton Abbey, season 5.
You hadn't seen that, or you just had to?
Yeah, I really like it when Rose meets Atticus, because I like her comment. She's so sweet, saying, but you're English now and you're still Jewish, so why couldn't you be Russian? You know, it was just so sweet. So I liked that episode. It's episode 5 in season 5. So I watched until episode 7, so I watched 3 episodes, and I managed to do almost the whole back part. So I'm hoping to keep that rhythm going, but we'll see, because I have to get Christmas presents done before Mom leaves for the States, so she can take them to my brother, my sister, and my
right, because I'm hopefully making a trip for Thanksgiving. My son purchased a new house, and we're gonna go, what do you call that?
Hang out.
We're gonna go
initiate the house. Do a housewarming party. Right. That's what it's called, housewarming.
Puerto Rican housewarming party. Where everybody goes to your house and
eats.
Lays all over the place.
And eats.
So that's our crochet.
And that really is it. Oh, I am working on other projects, but they're all Christmas related, even though one of them is a dragon, because I do have to make more dragons.
Speaking of dragons, I also have a I'm hooked on something that I wanted to share. You're not going to share your dragon? Well, if you want to share your dragon, I'll share mine. Quickly, but yeah, right here.
Living in the bag.
I purchased before all this Maria stuff, the pattern from Addie Days.
BM before Maria.
Right? BM before Maria. Addie Days hooked dragon pattern.
It's a paid for pattern.
It's paid for, but it was a lovely dragon design that she was contacted by the original designer of the knitted version, and they asked her if she would be willing to do a crochet version, and I thought it was just great. I thought it looked lovely. And so I had a yarn that I had purchased. I think it was one of my first yarns that I purchased from K.
It was the first yarn.
It wasn't Harry Potter. It was Lord of the Rings. It was Hobbit's Feet. Is that what it says?
Yeah, Hobbits. No. Hobbit feet.
Hobbit
Dialogue
feet.
1. So
Not
imagine
one.
how old
I don't know
that
if
is.
she ever made it again, but this was Hobbit feet.
The cake is double-stranded, so you could make 2 pairs of socks. Knitted socks at the same time, 2 at a time socks, but Mom made a 1 at a time shawl.
But I was going to make a shawl, and so I didn't need those double strands, and so I had to roll unwind it each into balls, and then after I had the balls, I was able to cake it into 2 exact half. Well, that was a good thing. 50 grams on one side, 50 grams on the other.
And then she made a purchase of the Shire, which is a mini skein set, which actually turned out 5 colors to be great because you need a little bit more. Can you check here the materials list? You need a little bit more than 100 grams, so a little bit more than 1 skein. Materials. You need fingering weight yarn, approximately 360 to 400 meters per 100 grams. And for the small one, you need 470 meters of the main color and 80 meters of the coordinating color. That's for the small one. For the large version, you need 675 meters of the main color and 150 meters of the coordinating color. So essentially, to make the small version, you need 70 meters more than what your cake would usually bring.
So this wasn't going to be enough. So luckily I had purchased those Shire mini skeins, and so I can incorporate them into, because this is gradient, right? It changes colors, and so a lot of the colors of the Shire look very much like this one, and so I'm going to be able to stop at one point and add on a little more of the Shire color, so that it will actually look like it's still keeping the gradient. This is made in sections. There are sections made this way. And so it's got the main color and the spines. So it's got a lot of ends to weave in, which I didn't realize at the beginning. If not, I probably would have never made it. But I think it's looking very nice with this yarn. This yarn was very appropriate for a dragon. And so right now I'm starting section 10. I'm going to make the small version because of the fact that I don't have any more yarn. This is section 10. And so once I finish section 10, then we will start like backwards. So the second skein, I had to wind it up backwards to the first one, because now I'm going to start with the dark colors and go down to the lighter colors.
I just love it.
So we'll have 20 sections in total. We'll be decreasing. I increased up to here, and now I'm going to be decreasing. It'll finish off with an edging around in the same color as the spine. Hopefully my spine color will be enough for that.
I want to make one.
It's just cute. I hope it's going to be cute.
And I love the name. And it kind of looks like dragon scales too, because they all switch colors.
And because of the way it switches width, right? It looks like a wing or something like that. So that was a really neat design. Thank you, Diane. I've been enjoying it. It's not difficult at all to crochet up. It's very repetitive. Each section just gets bigger, but you're doing the same stitches. And so, I've been occupying myself with that and forbidding myself to start anything else until I finish this one, because I can only get about 1 section a day, because it does become repetitive and tedious. But since I'm liking the outcome, and the color changing on the yarn is also, helps keep it interesting. And so hopefully it'll be done before Christmas.
I have so many things that need to be finished before Christmas that I don't even know if I'm going to make it. Like, I have to finish Loyola. I have to finish a hat that I started. I'm supposed to do some blankets, but who knows?
Well, we'll just take it one day at a time, little by little, until as the days go by. Hopefully getting back to normal.
Hopefully we'll get back to 2018.
Maybe you'll be able to do a second podcast before you go in November to...
I'm going to try.
For Thanksgiving?
We don't know if we're actually going to be running a Christmas cal this year. I know many of you wanted to, and we were very excited for a Christmas cal, but just not going to be able to keep in touch with you guys as much as we used to. We're not going to be able to encourage you with podcasts or on Instagram or on Ravelry. So
We don't know, because right now the situation with communications is the worst problem that the island is having. That goes from general U.S. Postal Service to internet and to cell service. It's all, the communications has been the worst. A lot of people already have their running water back, the electrical power, but it's just the communications bit that has given us a big problem. So we'll just take it one day at a time and see what happens.
Yeah, so once again, thank you to everybody who has kept in touch, who has contacted us. We are alive and well, and we hope to continue being alive and well for the long foreseeable future. So thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, thank you for giving us a go. If you are a veteran viewer, then thank you so much for keeping in touch and for coming back. And we hope to be able to communicate in some way, shape, or form with you guys before 2017 is over, but
even if it is in little bits.
Yeah.
So if you like the video, hit the like button below.
If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, then please do so.
We are getting close to the 1,000 subscribers.
We are. Thank you so much.
We're only about 20 away from that. So that will be another milestone in this podcast, and hopefully we'll be able to celebrate it.
Yeah, I'm celebrate it with you guys, because I kind of miss podcasting. Just hanging out with everybody, you know. I miss that bit and interacting with all of you. But from us here in Puerto Rico,
we'll just let you know that Puerto Rico is still standing, and we're standing along with it. And take care, and we'll get back to you whenever we can.
Yep. And it may or may not be, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, guys, but we'll try and make it count, you know? So, bye.
Bye. Happy crafting.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the We Are Still Standing episode.
I'm sorry.